The Maranello team has finally identified what is preventing the 25 model from competing for real victories in the top category of world motor racing. And it's not just a question of power or aerodynamics. The problem is much more complex and may explain why Lewis Hamilton has yet to reach the podium even once wearing the colors of the traditional Italian team. Has Ferrari managed to locate the source of the obstacle that has been blocking the team from reaching its true potential this season? Let's start with what unfolded in Austria, as it was there that Ferrari made significant progress, but also highlighted precisely where the single-seater's weakness lies. The Italian team arrived in Spielberg with a set of improvements focused on the floor and diffuser, and the effects were instantaneous. Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz finished third and fourth, representing Ferrari's best weekend of the season so far. However, here's the thing that many people didn't pick up on. Even with this improvement, Leclerc crossed the finish line 20 seconds behind the McLaren duo, led by Lando Norris. 20 seconds. That's a substantial difference in today's Formula One, where tenths of a second determine the outcome. And you know what that reveals? That even with the improvements, Ferrari is still far from where it should be. Because 20 seconds in a Formula One race is not just a difference in performance, it is a technical gap that needs to be addressed precisely. It's as if Ferrari is competing in a different division, even when everything is working perfectly. Now, this is where the story gets fascinating. Lewis Hamilton, who joined Ferrari carrying every expectation imaginable, has not even managed to reach the podium for his new team. And the seven-time world champion has been quite frank about what is missing. He wants more stability in the balance of the car. It is no coincidence that Jerome D'Ambrosio, deputy team principal, has publicly acknowledged that this is exactly the aspect that needs to be addressed in the next updates. But let's reflect on what this really means for a driver of Hamilton's caliber. We are talking about someone who has won 7 world titles, dominated Mercedes for years, and understands every detail of what a winning car needs to have. If he is questioning the lack of consistency in the balance, it is because the problem is much more serious than it appears on the surface. What D'Ambrosio revealed behind the scenes is enlightening about how Ferrari is operating internally. He explained that there is a whole validation sequence that goes from computational fluid dynamics through the wind tunnel and only then reaches the track. And this correlation between what they see in the simulators and what actually happens on the track has been the team's biggest challenge. In Austria, for the first time in a long time, what they expected to see in the data was confirmed in the reality of the race. This is a positive sign, but it also shows how disoriented Ferrari was previously. Consider this. A team with Ferrari's budget and tradition was basically flying blind when it came to correlating simulation data with actual performance. It's as if they were developing a car without vision, unsure whether the changes they made on the computer would actually work on the track. This explains a lot about why Ferrari has been so unstable in recent years. But let's get to what really matters. Why is car balance so fundamental? D'Ambrosio was clear in explaining that it's not just about driver preference or driving style. There is an objective balance point that can unlock real performance for the team. And that's the key to understanding why Hamilton, even with all his experience and skill, has not yet been able to get the most out of the 25 model. The point is that balance is not just about making the car faster on one lap. It's about creating a car that is predictable, that responds the same way in different track conditions, temperatures, and fuel conditions. It's about giving the driver confidence so he can attack when necessary and defend when needed. Without that balance, even a driver like Hamilton is limited. The situation becomes even more complex when we consider that Ferrari is not developing the car with a specific driver in mind. They are looking for that sweet spot that will benefit both Hamilton and Leclerc, but that may also be the hardest to find. It's like trying to find the perfect middle ground between two completely different driving styles. And here's a point that many people don't consider. Hamilton and Leclerc have very different driving styles. Hamilton is smoother, more calculating, while Leclerc is more aggressive and intuitive. Finding a balance that works for both is a huge technical challenge. It's like trying to make a suit that fits two people with completely different physiques perfectly, and it doesn't end there. Ferrari's next update packages will be crucial in determining whether the team can really compete for wins this season, because one thing is certain, McLaren isn't waiting around, Red Bull remains strong despite all its internal problems, and Mercedes is also evolving. If Ferrari can't resolve this balance issue quickly, it could see the season slip through its fingers once again. The Formula One schedule is relentless. Every race that passes without significant progress is a missed opportunity, and with only a few races left in the season, the window of opportunity is closing fast. Ferrari needs to get its next updates right, because there is no more time for trial and error. What makes this situation even more intriguing is that Ferrari finally has the data and the right direction to work with. They know where the problem lies, they know how to tackle it, and they have two top-level drivers to extract the most from the car when it is at its best. The question is, can they implement these fixes quickly enough to make a difference this season? The pressure on the Italian team is enormous, especially considering that Hamilton arrived with the expectation of fighting for titles immediately. Every race that goes by without a Ferrari victory is a missed opportunity, and time is running out. The upcoming updates are not just about improving performance, they are about validating whether Ferrari can actually turn knowledge into results on the track. And there is another factor that cannot be ignored: psychological pressure. Hamilton is not used to going so long without a podium finish. Leclerc is seeing his window of opportunity close quickly. Ferrari fans are impatient. All this pressure can either motivate the team to give their best or create a toxic environment that hinders development. But there is an even deeper dimension to this whole story. Ferrari is not just a Formula One team. It is a global brand, a symbol of Italian excellence that transcends motorsport. Every weekend without results affects not only the championship points, but also the image of a brand that generates billions of euros annually. And this commercial pressure adds an extra layer of complexity to technical decisions. The interesting thing is that historically, Ferrari has always had this difficulty balancing technical demands with emotional expectations. It is a team that lives between Italian passion and the Swiss precision needed to win in modern Formula One. And perhaps that is exactly what is creating this difficulty with the car's balance. So, what do you think? Is Ferrari finally on the right track to solve the problems with the 2025 model, or is this balancing issue just another excuse to explain why the team still can't compete on equal terms with McLaren and Red Bull? Leave your opinion in the comments because this discussion is far from over. And since we're talking about Ferrari and updates, click on the video appearing on your screen, because there I'll tell you how internal changes in the Italian team may be directly affecting the car's performance on the track.